just going to open up with a little bit of a reality check for all of us before we officially start this year. Anyhow, I do think I should welcome the members of Torah Anytime and Yibineh. Before I get into Shavuos, I want to share this with you. I just recovered from pneumonia, Baruch Hashem. Not totally there, but I'm on my way, thank God. And so before this class, I went back to my room to rest for a minute or two, just recharge my batteries. And as I did that, the windows open and I hear helicopters or planes, which if they're not going down into war, they're practicing at least. Not only that, I could hear they have different sounds now when there are sirens going off. So I want to make the following point. We're all saying Tehillim, and for those of you who haven't received a KLM Tehillim Kavanah card, I recommend it. But we're saying Tehillim constantly for the people who are suffering and in danger. And let's face it, for many of us, it's become rote. And I just want to quote this Rav here in Har Nof, Rav Brazil. He says, for the soldiers, it's not rote. For the families, it's not rote. For the hostages, it's not rote. So this is what we're all about, is we need to marshal up our energy and our focus and not let it be rote, not let our prayers be rote, and not let efforts like this. We're preparing for an incredible Yom Tov. Let's have the sense of urgency that our situation calls for. Okay, a little bit of a heavy opening. Now let's get ready for Shavuos. Shavuos and the Moedim are tremendous opportunities to get what you came for. Let me explain. We came into this Earth, planet Earth. All of us came into planet Earth with a magnificent purpose. But as we know, it's easy to get sidetracked. And Rahman Islam, many people get sidetracked and they forget why they're here and they forget to get what they came for. There is a non-Jewish thinker who nailed it on the head. Let's be honest here. This is such a good point. We mistakenly look at ourselves. We're prone to this all the time, to look at ourselves as physical beings who occasionally have a spiritual experience. Adarabba, as they say in English. It's just the opposite. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. That is what we tend to forget. And therefore, we have to welcome with open hearts. We have to welcome Yomim Tovim and Moadim. Why dafka then? Because the Yomim Tovim, the holidays, literally the holy days, we get back to the real world. My dad, I'm not smiling about this part. My dad passed away this year. His soul should have Aliyah's neshama. He should have Aliyah's neshama. My dad was like a classic loving Jewish parent. When they hear that their son is doing the following, I basically informed them that I'm leaving a very lucrative career as an international consultant, and I'm going to go study Torah in Israel. So you can imagine how that was received, and God bless him. He cared about my livelihood. The facts are, the last trip I made, the last consulting trip, I lived off that for a year and a half. So you'll understand that it was a lucrative career that I left. That year, we're close, we love each other, so we're talking 2 or 3 times a week. And there was a refrain that always occurred. What was that? My son, when are you going to come back to the real world? Right? I heard that a lot. When are you going to come back to the real world? Okay, fast forward about a year and a half, Baruch Hashem, I met my wife, and my parents fly to Eretz Yisrael for the wedding. And as we know, there's the Shabbos before the wedding, the Ufruf. So we're sitting in this old holy building, the first Birkas HaTorah building. We're having an Ufruf, and everybody's gathered around. It's on Shabbos, and there's a lot of speakers, etc. So I think my Rebbe asked my dad, Mr. Wegbreit, would you like to say a few words? And he gets up, and here are his opening words. There's something they say in the so-called real world. You hear that? He got it. He got it. The world we spend most of our time in is the so-called real world. It's not the real world. Now, as you can imagine, after he left, he goes back to the States or wherever. That kind of consciousness didn't persist so intensely. It doesn't for us either. You know that. We get lost and we forget which world is the real world. And that's why we need Yomim Tovim, Moadim, appointments with Hashem. I remember my first Moadim. I think it was at Pesach time in Los Angeles. And it was one of those, you have the 2 Yom Tovs and Shabbos all together. So you have 3 days of no work. There weren't even phones and things like that to not be able to access. But anyhow, at the end of the 3 days, I'll never forget, right as the Yom Tov was going out, the Rav said the following. He says, people are going to say to you now, well, it's time to get back to work. And that's true. And they'll say to you, unfortunately, we have to get back to the real world. And the Rav said, and I humbly agree with him, he says, that's wrong. That's not the real world. The Yomim Tovim, when we are focused on what we came here for, when we realize that we're spiritual beings having a physical challenge and trial and experience, that's the real world. And it's the corridor to the ultimately real world, the world to come. So these are so precious. The Yomim Tovim are such precious opportunities to spend some days with Hashem in the real world, right? That's Shavuos. That's what's coming up in a few days. Sounds great. So my urging of you and myself is, don't forget what an opportunity we have right now to enter the real world and really refocus. That's one of the key purposes of the Moed, of Shavuos, etc. Now, I wish I could say, okay, I hope you integrate that. Don't treat it like a TV show. Go for it. I wish I could stop the shiur here, but I can't. Why is that? The tremendous opportunity that Moedim present and Shavuos hugely, the tremendous opportunity, someone else realizes what a great opportunity is right now. Want to guess? That's rhetorical. Yeah, I know you're going to say the Yetzer Hara. And this isn't me just being colorful. The Gra, the Vilna Gaon says, Gadol Zman, Gadol Yetzer Hara. The greater the Kedusha, the spirituality, the potential of the time, the greater the Yetzer Hara is. Okay? So it's not so simple to just hear that we have a chance to take advantage of Shavuos. That knowledge, it's important to have that mindset that this is precious. I'm going to enter the real world for a couple days. However, it's not enough. Okay? And I think I'm going to give you a mashal right now. We've mentioned this before, especially with the Moedim. I'll tell you how I came up with this idea. I realized And, Parrots hinted to you that the share might be a little longer, although we're moving at a clip, actually. But the thing is this, Moedim, there are so many mitzvahs going on. The Moedim are overflowing with mitzvahs. And therefore, where I went to do some research? Okay, forgive me. I looked up how to plan a trip to Disneyland or Disney World. Excuse me. Do you know just some interesting side point, if you will? Disneyland and Shaw's Time to Leave the Little City. Disneyland is almost 2 times the size of Manhattan. You hear that? And this one person who's reporting about it, there's so much to do there that, they went, I think, 43 trips and they still didn't cover everything. Okay. That's Disneyland, the hot deal. Okay. So now, with that in mind, listen to the following true mushal. There's this lovely young girl named Malka. And Malka was so excited because her parents promised to take her to the amusement park. And this is at least a couple weeks ahead of the time. She's so excited. What happens? The day arrives. They go into the park. The parents pay for the tickets. And what happens? They rush through the amusement park. They're just whipping by, going through all this, passing all these rides. The poor girl, Malka, is crying. She's so upset. She's so disappointed. What's the nimshal? Who are those parents rushing through the amusement park? Right? What is it? Three are pointed at me. It's us. When we come into it, and what is the amusement park? It's a Yom Tov. It's all these glorious mitzvahs, chances to connect with Hashem that are filtered throughout the Yom Tov. So what we tend to do, Rahman Islan, is rush through. Or there's 2 types of challenges. We'll do it quickly, or we just kind of we don't stop and appreciate the rides, if you will. Okay? This is the challenge. In other words, the Yom Tov, see, the Yom Tov is Malka. I didn't even tell you what Malka was. I apologize. Malka is your neshama. And this is not a like crazy metaphor, because in the Midrash Koheles Rabbah, you all know this because it's in the beginning of Messias Yesharim. It says there's this princess who marries a villager. The princess is our neshama. The villager is our body. And she's just longing for the palace and the delicacies of the palace. And she's so disappointed with cheesecake. What I mean is unsanctified cheesecake, unsanctified fancy wine, unsanctified South African meat. You hear? That's the thing. We can get lost in the delicious, delightful. Now, Hashem wants us to really live it up. But as mitzvahs, we don't want to neglect Malka. We don't want to neglect our neshama on the Yom Tov. That's what we have to try to attend to, especially on Shavuos. So the point is this. We now have to figure out, we know what the challenge is. This is such a precious time to reconnect and to remember why we came here. We're who we are. We're in essence the Tzelem Elokim Neshama. What we're here to do. The Ramchal makes it clear. All that Hashem wants from us now, Torah and mitzvos. That's the whole purpose we're here. We come down on mission earth to do that, but we get distracted. And by the way, of course, we know that you can, your profession and many other things can be why we came. They can be holy mitzvahs, but that's the focus. So we know this is the challenge we're facing, and we have to be on guard to make sure we attend to Malka. And I have, how many strategies? Give me 1 second. 2 basic strategies for you. The first one is this. I'm going to share screen. Okay, this is the treasure map. This is the map to Lahavdil to Disneyland. This graphic contains basically before Yom Tov starts, there's mitzvahs. During the Yom Tov, at specific times, like I said, it's just a treasure chest of spiritual opportunities. So, suggestion number one for us to maximize is reach out to me for this Shavuos map. Okay. It's quite beautiful now, but we're preparing an even more beautiful version and a simpler and more clear version. So please contact me at Rabbi Wegbreit at gmail.com or the KLM website, kavanalemitzvos.com. You'll see it come up there. So reach out and request one of these. It's much better that you request it from me than I post it. Malko will be happy that you made the effort. Okay. So that's my suggestion number one is get a map. And now I want to tell you how to use this map and leave you with a special Yom Tov gift for everybody, including me and my neshama. Okay. I have a new hop on how to stay connected in terms of kavana and having kavana mitzvos. Okay, you always need to develop new hops. Okay, even our mission together at KLM is that we really don't fall prey to rote and we try to get what we came for and stay focused on Hashem. Now, anything we try will eventually become challenged. Okay. As my Rabbi Green said, you can't put your consciousness on autopilot. Not possible. So we need to keep coming up with tricks. So let me tell you the latest trick briefly. Okay. And it will tell you how to use this map. And okay, so here it is. Anybody want to be an ecstasy? I know what the answer is. Who doesn't want to be in ecstasy if it's legal and it doesn't hurt you? So what does ecstasy mean? Ecstasy is as follows. It's 3 steps to make to be absolutely spiritually hooked in. Okay. What was that in? Locked in. Locked in, like Shoal said. To be locked in, here's what you do. S, stop. T, think. C, concentrate. I repeat, ecstasy. S, stop. T, think. C, concentrate. Now, I wish I had came up with this, but where did I find this? In one of the first KLM founding members. Everyone knows that I'm looking if I can find it quickly. Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. To give credit where credit's due. Everyone recognizes this, the famous Asher Yatzar, the first viral Kavana card. So if you look here, it has 3 things. It says in Hebrew, Atzor, stop, Hoshev, think, and Hitrakez, concentrate. I'm telling you, it really works great. For example, we'll just take one, okay? That you're going to the shop to buy some nice wine or some nice fish, something like this. You're going to shop for Yom Tov. So whenever you catch yourself, stop, think, what am I doing? I'm doing the mitzvah of Kavod Yom Tov. I'm preparing for Yom Tov. And then concentrate on doing the mitzvah well. This really works well when you're praying. Stop. What am I about to do? Okay, stop. Think. I'm about to make a shehakol blessing. Have kavana for that. Now, concentrate on the words of the blessing. Baruch atah Hashem, etc. Ecstasy. So, how do we grapple with the fact that the Yetzer Hara doesn't want us to gain as much as we can here? The answer is take the map and apply ecstasy and celebrate even a few victories. Okay, that's part one. And I have a second strategy. Second strategy, Malka. What's the greatest thing you could give Malka? And again, I'm sore space when I tell you this. The greatest gift you can give Malka is a mitzvah. The Gra, the Vilna Gaon says in Megillas Esther that the essence of the neshama lives for mitzvahs. Neshamas, our souls, our malkas crave mitzvahs. And that's why Hashem gave, in the times of Purim, he gave the mitzvah of Megillas Esther. There was no mitzvah of Kriyas Megillah, but the neshama reaped that. So mitzvahs are the greatest gift you can give your neshama. What I want to do is, okay, we have the mitzvah map that I just flashed up there. But here's the other thing. I want to bring out two mitzvahs that you're anyhow doing, but you probably don't have kavanah for them or appreciate that they are mitzvahs, actually Torah commandments. So this is how we're going to finish. We're going to finish with a gift to our soul. The first mitzvah that I want to bring out is this, okay? You will be familiar with the topic, but not with the kavanah, I think. Here it is. Atzeres. The Gemara learns, it says in one pasuk, Atzeres LaHashem. Atzeres means like an assembly or in a gathering for Hashem. And then yet another pasuk, the first one's in Devarim, Tes Zayin Ches, and then in 29:35, Chavtet Lamed Hey in Bemidbar, it says Atzeres Lacha. You should have assembly for yourselves. So I know you know this. So listen, this is an injunction, says the Gemara, to divide half the day for Hashem and half the day for you and your family and your body. Malka's villager husband. That's half for Hashem, half for you. Now, we are doing this. When we go to daven, right? When we go to pray together, that's Hetzil Hashem. We're gathering, we're assembling for Hashem. So have that in mind. Your neshama will be delighted because you went to shul. You might have had other mitzvahs in mind, but you might not have had Hashem. We're gathering for you because we love you. And then when you're eating with your family and friends, that's Seres Lacha. Eating, drinking wine, cheesecake. Now that I shouldn't have done that with pneumonia. Cheesecake is for you, and that's a mitzvah d'oraisa too. Okay, so that's the first gift I want to give to your malkas and my malka. The second one is this. In other words, I'm uncovering ones that you may not be as familiar with, and if you just insert this new kavanah, amazing what it'll do for your neshama. The second one is Mikre Kodesh. I bet you've heard that word before, besides it being in the Torah and Parshas Emor mentioned a lot. Mikre Kodesh is mentioned also in the special davening. We are assembling in shul. What is Mikra is also, there's a Tseres is a type of gathering together. Mikra it's learned out from Mikrei Ada. They used to blow trumpets to assemble everybody. But this is assembling for holiness. Mikra Kodesh. How do you fulfill Mikra Kodesh? Right before, in the Shmona Esrei of every one of your davenings on Shavuos, after the first three blessings, Ata b'chartanu mikol amim, v'haftosanu, and then it says man matan torasenu. That section, you're fulfilling according to the Ramban, a mitzvah d'oraisa of Mikra Kodesh, right? You've gathered together and you're acknowledging the unique holy day, your visit to the real world. You hear this? So to summarize, we're about to enter the real world. And don't think it's going to be easy. because we can get caught up in every time has patterns that repeat itself. Now we know there's a deep spiritually, but what happens is rote always occurs. I'm going to tell you something a little chilling. All right. How much rote occurs? Rahman I lost my dad in the middle of Elul and all of Sham, and then my mom went in the beginning of Shvat. And so, what do? Thank God they were buried here, and I'm sitting Shiva. And now it's 4 months later. I just lost my dear beloved mother. Both of them I love so much. And like I see, like it's the same people are coming in, and I'm sitting here, and I made a probably inappropriate joke. I said, "This is becoming rote." You hear that? Even such a profoundly heavy, important, emotional thing. Anything that repeats is a call to you to rise to the occasion. Because if not, it's just not going to be the same. So I think you've observed Shavuos before. I think you're used to the nigunim. You're used to the pattern of just relating and eating, enjoying, and not necessarily being conscious of the mitzvahs. So that's why I want to warn you. We know there's going to be a road challenge, but let's, especially now, may it help all of Klal Yisrael. Let's take really seriously upping our game, staying connected to this amazing opportunity, and getting what we came for. I just want to wish everybody, mamish, that your entire being, including your soul, gets the maximum out of this Shavuos, and it should be a Melitz Tov for Klal Yisrael.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Any questions? You can keep it recording, Parrots.
Okay.
The Shaul hasn't spoken to us in years, I think.
Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Rabbi Wegbreit.
Shaul.
Should we assign the exhaustion we feel before davening on Shavuos to the Yetzer Hara?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's a great one. Yeah. No one should ever take Shaul's questions lightly. It's right on the point. There's a couple things to mention, and that's this. Yes, for sure, yes. Meaning there's this minhag that has been accepted. By the way, when I say yes, it's a free for all right now. Okay, so if you disagree with me, whoever you are, come in and press. But let me make my argument first. There's a minhag kadosh of the Arizal to stay up all night, and it's just amazing. And you have the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the place, this is where I show the Vilna Gaon's point, greater the time, greater the Yetzer Hara. When the 10 Commandments are read, Kriyas Torah of the 10 Commandments, that's where there's an inyan to Makabel the Torah. There's a Yerushalmi about that. There is like an incredible Eis Ratzon for Refuah. To be present in the Kriyas Torah is a huge thing. You're Makabel the Torah. You have the mitzvah deraisa of Zecher Mamad Lahar Sinai, which is a deraisa anytime you think about it. It's so huge. The Kriyas Torah, I haven't spoken about the tefillah, but the Kriyas Torah is huge. And then we're seeing what do you call it? Our eyes are spinning or whatever. So for sure, if you're going to maintain, and then of course we have Megillus Rus, we have the davening. It's a long davening. And all of it is precious. Mikra Kodesh, and Atzeres LaHashem is all contained in the davening, and we're exhausted beyond belief. Okay, so I wish I could get sponsored by a coffee thing, on behalf of the XL Corporation and Folgers or whatever. But okay, so there is that strategy, and I would like to see if Dr. Setzer has some angles for us. I'm going to tell you another approach, okay, that we have to think about. Okay, I'm I'm not saying you should do it. Maybe you should. Yeah. How about everybody ask your local rabbi on this? Okay. But there's a Rav here in Harnof, wonderful Rav. He teaches at Machon Shlomo, Rav Jonathan Taub. Maybe some of you have heard of him. So he told me, he was like everybody else, years and years and years, all night, a little bit of coffee, and it's just a brutal battle till the end of the davening on Shavuos morning. But he told me he decided to get a few hours of sleep. In other words, he stayed up 2, 3, whatever it may be, and he got a couple hours of sleep. And he said to me, it was like the davening was like traveling through the Garden of Eden with Hashem. It was so magnificent. Okay, so there is, it's a really it's not a simple calculation. You hear? And I mean, okay, I feel it's appropriate to tell you that story. And yeah, hello? Was somebody saying
Over.
something? Yeah, were you gonna say something, Daryl?
May I add just something brief in between?
Well, yeah, of course. That's what this is for.
Just to support what the rabbi is saying from two different angles. One is the Mishnah Berurah says that, well, actually, I saw it in, sorry, Mr. Kaczynski, that if you, am I echoing, by the way?
A little, but it's not that bad.
Okay, because I can change that. Is that if your sleep is going to be, your davening is going to be detrimentally affected, so then you should not stay up all night. That's number one. And then
You should not. Wait. You know what, Rabbi Michael? It is a little echoey if you can fix it. He said you should not stay up all night if your davening is going to be affected.
Correct.
Okay, good. And the other thing you were going to
So
say.
is that better?
Yeah, much better.
And then just one of the quick thing is I heard I think you also way back that Rabbi Yashav that's how would stay up. He used in general I don't know the exact numbers, so don't quote me on it, but let's just say it was 4 hours sleep, and then so what he would do is he would stay up till
2. Okay, but maybe it's 4. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he would don't quote me on the number. But he would have 1 less hour, 1 or 2 less hours sleep. So on El Shavuos. So he did.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what I heard, that he did not stay up all night.
So you're actually bringing 2 supports for not all night.
Yes. Right.
Okay, I hear. Anybody else? Dr. Setzer, any tricks up your medical sleeve to have energy for the davening? He's taking the 5th, I think. Dr. S.
No.
Okay. All right. Maybe he'll mention after. But okay. Anyhow, Hatzlacha, everybody, and Bezrat Hashem will be matzliach to have an impact not only on ourselves but also Klal Yisrael.
Amen. Amen.
You know what? How about this? Because these are the dear regulars. Let's also do a Tehillim right now. Okay. Let's have in mind first of all, just the mitzvahs. I could go on about this, but we'll focus on this. That for sure we should have in mind the mitzvah of v'hafta l'reacha kamocha. That could you imagine how desperate we would be if we're on the front lines in the hands of those disgusting creatures, all those things. So just out of love for our fellow Jews everywhere, there's a Haftarecha Kamocha to recite this Tehillim sincerely. When you recite Tehillim, it's also the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, okay? And then when we say Achenu at the end, that's the particular premium place to have in mind the mitzvah to cry out to Shem in times of trouble, which is the mitzvah deraisa. Okay?
Can I add something quickly?
Yeah, please.
In New York now, it's Yom Yerushalayim. And I think it's fair to say that for many of the people on this call, having access to the Old City was a critical feature of their growth, our growth. I know for me, life changed in the Old City. And I just am so grateful that as a people and personally as individually, that I was alive at the time, that I had access to the Old City and could live, study, and grow there and meet incredible people and incredible rabbis and families, present company included. And I just, to now have been at war, it just makes the gift of Yerushalayim even more dear and even more appreciated.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, excellent. Okay, good. So maybe I'll recite and you guys can do whatever alongside me. We'll do Mamamakim. Shira Malos Mamamakim Krasicha Adonai. Adonai Shima Bakoli Tenes Necha Keshuvos Lakol Tachanunai. Imanos Tishmoya Adonai Miamod. Kima Chaslicha Leman Bere. Kvisia Adonai Kisa Nashi Levro Halti. Nashi Adonai Mishomrim Aboker, Shomrim Aboker. Yechot Adonai Kima Adonai Chesed Babei Mofidus. Luyates Israel Makol Banasam. Achinu Kol Beis Israel Nizum Tzar Shirim Omdim Ben Biam Ben Basha. Makam Rachim Aleim Tzim Tzar Lavacha or Shibu Vagula. Bolazman Kariva Noma Om. Okay, everybody. Lila Tov.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
You. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Yeshua. Thank you very much. For Shlema.
Amen. Thanks.
Shir Shir Chadash,